If you had any hope left to see the Fantastic Beasts franchise get through all 5 of its movies, then we regret to inform you that it's all over. Warner Bros. Has officially confirmed that there are no plans to continue the story of Dumbledore's battle with Grindelwald. We'll be talking all about the announcement in this video and looking at some other franchises whose futures are in doubt. First up, the halls of Hogwarts are deserted. Warner Bros. Discovery has confirmed that no movies from either the Harry Potter or the Fantastic Beasts franchise are currently being made. The latter franchise has been in development since 2014 based on the fictional textbook Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. While it started off as a trilogy, author and screenwriter J.K. Rowling managed to talk Warner into giving her 5 films to tell her story. So why is the franchise getting cut off? Warner Bros. Has been dealing with the worst spot of bad luck over the past couple of years, and many of their biggest problems were tied up in the Fantastic Beasts franchise. You had Johnny Depp and his beef with Amber Heard, which led to him getting recast in the 3rd movie. Ezra Miller is still busy with their reign of terror over Vermont, and J.K. Rowling is making herself radioactive through her transphobic comments. It didn't help, of course, that the 2nd and 3rd movies fell short of the lukewarm reviews that the 1st movie mustered, and so did the box office. Not only were these movies not proving to be worth the investment, they were revealing something about the Harry Potter franchise. It ain't as hyped up as it used to be. Now, this doesn't have to be the end of the Wizarding World, though. David Zaslav, the man in the chair at Warner Bros. Discovery, has expressed interest in continuing the Harry Potter franchise. In the report by Variety, he's quoted as saying that he'd love to collaborate with J.K. Rowling on more Harry Potter content. It wasn't anything concrete, of course. He was just listing the IPs that Warner owns that he was interested in capitalizing on. This would fit with the strategies of the new management. They want hits and they like them big. It seems like one of the things that irritated them the most was the way Warner was greenlighting projects with low potential. Based on how Fantastic Beasts turned out, he probably shouldn't have involved JK, and yet, some Potter fans are not going to be excited to hear that J.K. Rowling is going to be involved with the future of the Harry Potter franchise, but that's really unavoidable. Rowling is the queen of the wizarding world of Harry Potter, and she has executive control over everything anyone does with the franchise. You want the rose, you get the thorns. So what could the future of the franchise be under Rowling? Some might be worried about Cursed Child, the movie, but we doubt that's gonna happen. Rowling might choose to explore another era of Wizarding World history, and you never know, we might just get that movie about the Marauders that we've been dreaming of for all these years. Moving on, it looks like Fantastic Beasts is yet another franchise that's trailing off with a weak ending. We're sure you've noticed that Hollywood has been focusing a lot on the franchise model over the past decade or so. It seems like a movie can't get made if the elevator pitch doesn't also include a pitch for how to continue the story with sequels. With this approach to filmmaking, it's no wonder that we have so many franchises that get stuck or get terminated without an ending. Don't believe us? We're gonna show you 5 film franchises whose endings have a big ol' question mark over them. We're starting at Star Wars, aka Harry Potter in Space. This might be a weird inclusion for the list since 2022 alone saw the release of 3 new Star Wars shows, all of which were big successes too. If we're looking at the overall picture, it doesn't look like this franchise is twisting in the wind. Here's the thing though, Star Wars isn't really supposed to be a TV franchise, is it? Indeed, Disney's initial approach to their reign on Star Wars was supposed to mimic the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with movies supported by spin-off shows. The problem there was that their so-called sequel trilogy didn't play out very well. The Last Jedi was mired in controversy for years, and The Rise of Skywalker was universally disliked as a conclusion. Rogue One and Solo didn't elicit much excitement either. It looks like Disney is content with making prequel spin-off shows exploring every corner of time and space before the advent of A New Hope. Will we ever move past the sequel era? Will Star Wars ever come back to theaters? It's all up in the air. Next up, Star Trek is going in a similar direction. Trek, like Star Wars, has a fair few TV shows ongoing. You've got Star Trek Picard, Discovery, and Lower Decks. Options on these vary a lot since Star Trek fans are pretty hard to please. But it's not like folks are starved for content on this front. But the thing we want to highlight in this list is the Star Trek movie franchise. There was a lot of excitement in 2009 when Star Trek returned to the big screen, bringing back a rejuvenated version of the original series cast. Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto put themselves on the map as the new Captain Kirk and Spock respectively. That was followed followed up by 2 sequels, and then nothing. Well, not nothing. The movie has been languished in development hell since the release of Star Trek Beyond in 2016. Our last update was that Max Shackman, director of WandaVision, was signed on to do the movie, but things didn't work out and he left the project. Star Trek 4 has even been taken off the Paramount release schedule, which sounds like bad news. Up next, we have the DC Extended Universe. This film franchise is the other headache that Warner Bros. Is dealing with, one that has been bothering them all the way back to 2013. Zack Snyder was tapped to craft a film franchise for DC's characters with an overarching story. A decent start led to a serious left turn with Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, which got terrible reviews and alienated fans. After that, the studio started meddling with Justice League, and when he had to leave the movie due to a family tragedy, the studio quickly got Joss Whedon to finish the job. The release of the Justice League led to a fracturing of the DCEU. Zack Snyder left the franchise, Joss Whedon got cancelled because of his treatment of Ray Fisher, Ben Affleck hung up his cape while Henry Cavill flew off to Netflix. The rest of the cast has carried on, but Wonder Woman's sequel disappointed, Aquaman's female lead got embroiled in a scandal, and The Flash is currently terrorizing Vermont. Things are looking a little more promising for this series now. The new management at Warner has restructured DC Films into DC Studios and has appointed James Gunn as its head. Meanwhile, Zack Snyder got the last laugh after fan campaigns forced Warner to let Snyder release his much superior version of Justice League. Coming up is a James Cameron two-parter starting with Terminator. Now, this was a franchise that got off to a brilliant start. The first entry, The Terminator, was a really good horror action movie. As for the second, T2 Judgment Day, is still considered to be one of the greatest action movies of all time. And if you want to see how one movie can ruin a franchise forever, look no further than the bomb that was Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. The series has never recovered from the misfires of Terminator 3. There was an attempt at a reboot trilogy with Terminator Salvation, which is best remembered for Christian Bale's on-set meltdown. Then there was another reboot with Terminator Genesis, best known for making Arnie look weird. Even James Cameron couldn't save the franchise, with his production on Terminator Dark Fate doing little to revive the series. The only success this series ever had after T2 was the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and although the show was great, it fell victim to the Summer Glau curse, being cancelled after 2 seasons. And finishing off, we have the Alien franchise. Cameron is only one of the big names associated with the Alien franchise. If anything, this is more Ridley Scott's baby, but James Cameron did follow up the mind and chest-blowing first film with a sequel that managed to be just as good while taking the opposite approach. And yet again, it was all downhill from there. The third and fourth movies were so terrible that all the Alien media that followed has excised those flicks from the timeline. While the Alien franchise enjoyed a healthy second life in the form of comics and video games, it wasn't until 2012 that Scott returned to this universe with Prometheus, which was followed up by Alien Covenant. Despite some interesting ideas and Michael Fassbender, Scott failed to capture the lightning he caught in a bottle one time in the 70s. Between that and the failure of Neil Blomkamp's movie, it looks like the Xenomorphs won't be haunting theaters anytime soon. Noah Hawley's still working on an Alien series though, which is something to look forward to. That's it for today's video, my friends. Are you disappointed to see the Fantastic Beasts franchise end this way? What would you like to see from the Harry Potter franchise? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the